Washington, Representative Trey Gowdy secured one of Congress's most powerful investigative posts last week. But it remains unclear how, or if, he'll use it to investigate President Donald Trump. Voted in as chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee on Tuesday, Gowdy, RSC, possesses nearly boundless jurisdiction to probe executive branch misdeeds and abuses. His predecessor, Representative Jason Chaffetz, Republican Utah, who is retiring from Congress next week, had taken some halting steps to investigate Trump, requesting, for instance, memorandums written by former FBI Director James B. Comey about his meetings with the president and documents related to Trump's downtown Washington hotel. Videos. Top Jobs Woodside Homes Power by Developer. Top Jobs Aero National Car Rental Counter Customer Service Agent. Top Jobs Aero Bud Sorrells Consulting Group Landscape Designer. Must Be Willing T. Top Jobs Aero Dress Design Project Manager. Top Jobs Aero The Eye Institute of Utah Incorporated Ophthalmic Assistant. Top Jobs Aero. Check out all of the trib top jobs. But there are signs that Gowdy, a former state and federal prosecutor who led the rancorous House probe into the 2012 Benghazi attacks, may defer those inquiries to other congressional investigations and to special counsel Robert Mueller. The last thing he'll want to do is impede any sort of investigation, Chaffetz said of Gowdy. But we also have duties and obligations in the House. I trust that he'll find the proper balance to that, and it's a tricky one. It's not easy. Gowdy's office declined requests for an interview last week, citing an ongoing review of the committee's staff and agenda. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal published Saturday, Gowdy said he saw his tenure as a rare opportunity to depoliticize oversight and said he had confidence in Mueller to lead the criminal probe into the Trump orbit. He said he would prefer the committee focus on issues such as the federal workforce and the coming 2020 census and drafting reform legislation. A GOP aide acknowledged last week that Gowdy had conversations with other committee chairmen in recent weeks about their potentially overlapping jurisdiction. Rep. Gowdy respects the jurisdiction of each committee and has had similar conversations with all committee chairs, the aide said. House rules clearly lay out the jurisdiction of each committee. Any decision to bow out of probing Trump could spark a partisan battle on the Oversight Committee, angering Democrats who watched Chaffetz and Gowdy vigorously pursue politically damaging probes into former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton ahead of last year's election. Representative Gerald E. Connolly, Democrat Virginia, the vice-ranking Democrat on Oversight, said any move to have the panel step aside from Trump probes would be a recipe for very serious friction on the committee. We are increasingly going to demand robust oversight on what we consider to be one of the most serious threats to American democracy, he said. Several Republican members and aides, speaking on the condition of anonymity to describe Gowdy's thinking before he publicly unveils his oversight priorities, said the 52-year-old South Carolinian is mindful of staying in his investigative lane. Gowdy not only conducted criminal investigations before joining Congress, but he also now sits on the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committees, both panels with pending oversight interests in the Trump administration. Gowdy will be wary, the Republicans said, of treading onto his colleagues' turf or interfering with Mueller's probe. Rep. K. Michael Conaway, Republican Texas, who is leading the intelligence panel's investigation into alleged Russian election interference and possible Trump links, said last week he had some brief conversations on the subject with Gowdy. I think Trey and I will work well together, he said. Obviously, he's got two hats, and so I trust him to be able to manage that. Democrats have little patience for the notion that the Trump probes might be left to other committees. They pointed to multiple Obama administration issues where the House Oversight Panel did its own, often higher-profile investigation of matters that were also being probed by other committees of jurisdiction. 4 House committees, Intelligence, Foreign Affairs, Armed Services and Judiciary, probed the Benghazi attacks. For instance, the Ways and Means Committee probed reports of the Internal Revenue Service targeting conservative nonprofit groups before then Oversight Chairman Dara Lisa, Republican California, took the lead, and ICE's rigorous probe into the Justice Department's handling of Operation Fast and Furious impinged on the Judiciary Committee's turf. We had hearings on Benghazi. We had hearings on the IRS. That never stopped us before," Connolly said. Both Dara Lisa and Jason Chaffetz were more than willing to entertain conflict with other committees in order to engage in their own oversight and make their own imprint on the topics. So why would this to be an exception to that rule?